Ever since I picked up the PS1 controller at the age of 3, I was obsessed with this one fact about games. No matter what happens or what I do, you can simply explain things within the game world. Except dying. If you die, you just magically come back to life with these things called checkpoints or last save, which made absolutely no sense to a 3-year-old with very little knowledge of English. For example, when you're playing God of War, you are Kratos, god of killing gods. You single-handedly destroyed a pantheon of gods, but then this lizard thing comes along and kills you. Like, what happened there? With the rise of roguelike and light, I was finally feeling somewhat content with death being justified. Hades, Deathloop, Death Cell and many more finally answered the 28-year-old question of mine: what happens after we die? In the game. Now, when something becomes popular, we humans tend to overdo the shit out of it until the point where it feels extremely mundane and regular. With that in mind, when I first heard about Returnal, I paid no attention to it since it was just another roguelike. But then I heard it. Something was calling me to this unknown yet familiar world. It was a roguelike, alright, but not like the others. When I answered the call, I had little to no information about the game. Like, what's the deal with it, how long is the gameplay, or what's the story? I just wanted to play another roguelike on my brand new PS5. By the way, I'm going to spoil the shit out of the game, so if you want to play the game, just get out. We start as Celine, following a mysterious signal called White Shadow. So we crash land to this planet called Atropos, and yes, all of these Greek names actually mean something. We abandon, that's a strong statement. We abandon Helios and start our journey. Honestly, it took me a while to get used to the game. I don't have health, I have this thing called integrity. I pick up stuff from the monsters I kill and I occasionally attach these parasites to my body for fun. Up to this point, I thought about quitting. Wait, is that a 21st century classic American house in the middle of the jungle on a planet God knows where? So anyways, with all that confusion, I pushed forward because I was downloading Red Dead 2 and I had some time to kill, so why not, right? I find myself in this giant pit and thousands of hours of gaming experience slightly hinted to me that a boss fight was about to happen. I mean, the air was reeking of a boss fight, just look at this place. Anyways, I jumped down and died. Jumped down and died again. It's basically rinse and repeat for several times until finally, Red Dead 2 was ready to play. Let's go, boys! So at this point, I can admit that I was hooked. Do you know why I was hooked? Because all the time that I died, I actually died on the planet. I could see my corpse slowly rotting away. I die, but the planet moves on. This is not a planet. It's a hell. And it's my kind of hell. Now that we're at the second level, we get the grasp of things, like which weapon is best, what kind of upgrades should we get, or should we venture out a little further or just keep going to the next boss? All of these questions must be answered with some thought put into it because Returnal is a hard game. By the way, do you want to talk about the house? I want to talk about the house. Can we please talk about the house? You need to plan ahead. You need to make decisions. You need to sacrifice things to become stronger. By the way, beneath all this unknown, there is a story. A story that took me by surprise and shook me to my very core. But before that, let's talk about health and a journalist system. Do you see this bar? That's your health. It becomes larger if you want it to be. Do you know how it gets larger? By picking up these green rocks. But there's a twist. See these 3 blanks? If your health is full, you get 1. Repeat this 3 times and... if your health is not full, which is very common, you'll get some of your health back. Now, take this information and put it into your pocket. Do you see this bar? That's the adrenaline bar. It increases with each kill you get. It goes all the way back to level 0 if you get a damage. Do you know what happens if it gets to level 5? Now, we got these two systems that complement each other by a simple rule. You being good at the game. I love this system. Imagine implementing this system into any action game. Just imagine how much more fun, rewarding and meaningful the combat could be. I honestly wish more games had this type of mechanic. Third level was one of the weakest levels of the game from my point of view, but I think that was on purpose. You see, third level is a special level. It's the last level. It's the last obstacle that you need to pass. It's the last push you need to make. It also has one of the most wicked boss battle I had ever seen. We will come to the best one in a bit. Now, I'm not gonna explain what's so great about this boss fight. Instead, I want you to watch this clip from the battle itself. So now, finally, after all that pain and suffering, all those corpses laying around, we have managed to defeat our demons. We are free. It turns out that the White Shadow is a distress call. We make contact with our team, got rescued, and go back to our planet as a hero. Then we see Celine live a life. Wait, I remember that house. Have kids. Live a long, happy life. Get old. Yo, is that this house? And die. From natural causes this time. So our story ends with Celine slowly descending into her grave. Very slowly descending. Is the music getting loud or what? Into the... We wake the fuck up back at the planet. Did you really think that was over? I don't fucking think so, my dude. Okay, now, let that sink in for a while. Yes, we escape, but that changes nothing. Because we are bound to this place, we are bound to this hell. We will repeat the same thing over and over again, but things are different this time. We have been alive for too long. The planet, it has changed. There is no distress signal this time.
Can we please talk about the house?
So what's with the house? If you paid attention, this game uses a lot of metaphors to explain its story and characters. We have this astronaut that follows us around, and we can get it as an item as well. Which, by the way, is the most powerful item you can get. It literally gives you another life. So the house is a flashback to Celine's regrets, how she pursued her career, how she became an astronaut but neglected her son, Helios. We play through Helios' eyes for a while and we see the same astronaut in the living room, cold and distant, paying very little attention to us. But why? What happened? Why are we living the same nightmare over and over? All of these questions will be answered at the remaining of the game. Which, by the way, if you pay attention, the game is not over. Yeah, and then I got 2 more pages. Yeah, at this point the script has gotten out of control, so I will try to fast forward a few steps. But wait, what's that melody? It's familiar. I know this song. Anyway, now that the world is completely different from what it was, we still have to learn what happened and how to get out of it. So we kill monsters until the music becomes so loud that it tells me that it's a fucking boss fight at this point. Do you remember that I was going to talk about the coolest boss battle I've ever had? There it is. It's this giant dude playing an organ and striking me with the melodies coming out of organ's pipe, which is also Don't Fear the Reaper by blue oysters. I can't emphasize enough how much I love this fight. It is so unique and creative. I loved it so much that I actually died intentionally, so that I could experience this again and again. Just because Celine doesn't want to hear the music, it hurts her. It is amazing to see that they actually transformed a metaphorical concept into reality. After we kill this boss, this time we descend into deeper to the belly of the beast. Our ascension had stopped. We now know that there is no hope. Even if we get out of the planet, when we die, we eventually come back here. We need to go deeper to see what's really going on. Next few levels really spike up the difficulty, so if you die at this point, you need to come prepared, which means you need to clear rooms, get upgrades, gear up, and all that stuff. Also, there's a cool mechanic in the game that I actually want to talk about. So, you kill a boss to get the unique item that unlocks the places that you haven't been able to be in before. And these places are next levels. This backtracking mechanic also helps you to find out more about the game's story. Anyway, the hot scorching desert now turned into this cold and desolate place. We no longer climb up, but we go deeper into the mountain. I personally didn't like this level very much. It's a personal thing, I don't like ice levels except Northrend, which is another story. So we go to the ice level, we defeat the boss, there is nothing really particular about that one. At the last level we go under the water, we defeat some monsters, as you do, and then we confront the final boss. It's a skeleton thingy under the water, which at some point turns into an astronaut helmet. What the fuck, man? I gotta admit, this boss fight was a bit easy compared to the other challenges, or I have become the death. I don't know. But we kill this boss, we move on. And at last, we piece together the last missing links. Helios, our son, died in the car accident because of Celine's hallucinations. We fell off the bridge and barely escaped from the car, but without Helios. We abandon Helios. It all makes sense now! At the start of every single run, we abandon our son over and over again. We live in this hell that we cannot escape. We die, we leave some of our pieces along the way because we cannot escape. There is no escape. At this point, the topic of the video kind of switched towards something else. It switched towards to a personal hell. So I highly recommend watching Jacob Geller's video about the topic where he discusses what a personal hell is. He also mentions one of my favorite sci-fi shorts, I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. So why I loved this game? Cause it takes this idea of a personal hell, attaches it into a roguelike system where we live and die over and over again just to hope to see a different result. Her death is the most crucial part of the game. It's a reminiscence of her failure. When we die, we start over. We abandon Helios again, hoping that this time things could be different. I have left out so many things that this game offers, not only story but also gameplay as well. I honestly think that Returnal is one of the most underrated games that came out in the recent years. If you haven't played it yet, please go and experience it. That's all. Bye!